Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to go over Digihost on this deep dive. I took a couple hours to go through all their press releases, quarterly earnings, reports, and edit it all into my Excel sheet. So why don't we look at Digihost here right now? So this is the one we're going over, Digihost, blockchain technology company. They're saying 12,000 plus miners. We'll see if that compares with what I have right now in my sheet. And then if we look at the quarterly results here, we can see for 6/30 in it, so I think it's Q2. They had a total revenue of 5.1 million, and then Q1 was 4.7 million. So that kind of corresponds with my sheet as well. So let's take a look at my sheet here. So we got Digihost here. Shares outstanding is 75 million. Current stock price is 176. Market cap is 163 million. And let's get into the miners here first. So going through all the numbers and the press releases and everything else, this is what I was able to come up with. It looks like all of these miners here were installed between 2018 and then some are going to be installed through the end of this year. When they reported May 12th, they purchased these miners. So January 1st, they provided some numbers that they bought out from another company, January 4th as well. And then April 23rd, they added some miners, but these have been, looks like, taken offline recently or in the past year or so. They also had a bunch of, well, not a bunch, but they had like 100 of the Dash miners, which they also had Dash master nodes that they were part of, 2 of those. But obviously Dash has never quite really recovered after the 2017 market rally and then the eventual bear market never quite really recovered. So I think best to my knowledge is they got rid of those. I don't think they have those anymore. I couldn't find any updates as far as how much do they still have in the latest reports and press releases, so I'm guessing those are out. All right, so on April 25th, 2018, they reported 2,700 miners of the S9s. Then on May 3rd, another 1,000. And on July 26th, another 2,500 of those. And then in February 27th, they reported 1,000 of the, we don't know what those are, unknowns, but I'm guessing that it's 1,000 of, they're saying 49 petahash. And in October, they reported buying M30Ss, 180 of those at 90 gigahash or terahash. And then December 31st, 2021, another 140 of the S19 Pros at 110 terahash. And then back in March 29th, at the S17 Pluses, they bought 700 of those at 76 terahashes, which I don't know why they did that, why they went down. They couldn't just buy less of them and gotten the better miners. But that's another story here for now. And then May 12th, they reported that they are placing an order for 9,900 of the another unknowns, but they're mining at around 925 petahash, which comes out to be around 93.4 terahash on the speed-wise. So based on the Bitcoin price back in the first quarter, we were at 58,730 for the close. That was on March, the last day of March. So based on those numbers, this is kind of what they were making here. And this is how many months the miners were operational. So that comes out to be 4.7, which is really close to what they reported for the first quarter. And their operating expense was 1.5 million. That was just operating maintenance cost for that. They also mined for January 33.7, February 35.02, and in March 36.54 Bitcoins, which is valued at approximately 6.18 million at that time based on the price of 58,730 for the Bitcoin price. So they also had 154 BTC from 2020 that they kept, so we included that in this sheet as well. So let's get into Q2 here. Q2, we had all of these miners basically running, and then part of the 9,900 that they had here for basically a quarter a month to come up with the earnings of 5.1, which is what they reported here, right? If we look at it here, 5.113. So we're very close to what they had here. And Bitcoin price obviously at that point was at 33,000 the close of June last day. Here's what they mined. So they mined through 37 in April, 34 in May, June 38. So a total of 3.6, roughly 3.7 million in BTC. This corresponds with the 563 that they said they held. So they give us a total of 109, almost 110 for the quarter. And here's where it gets kind of interesting a little bit. So on June 10th, they reported, June 10th and June 16th, 2021, respectively, the company formed a strategic collaboration with Bit Digital USA Inc. to increase the company's combined hash rate by 2.4 exahash. So based on that information, it looks like Digihost is going to be hosting Bit Digital's miners in their facilities, which makes it a lot more difficult to figure out as far as what they're going to be mining. And what is the split? Are they 50-50 on this? Are they 10%, 15% revenue on top of whatever the expenses are for power, maintenance, things like that? So that just makes it a lot harder to figure out what their total capacity is going to be and what they're going to be actually mining. So I'm hoping to get some clarification from that in their Q3 notes. So take that into advisement as well. So I'm not including those miners in here because I just don't know how much they're going to be making off of those. I also don't know what kind of miners they are, what the hash rate is, all that stuff. So this is what we had for the mining for that quarter, which is really close to here. And then so we're looking at Q3, which we still haven't gotten the results from them yet on that. Can delete that. Oh, let's see here. So we have, so they reported on October 13th of 200 petahash. So that would coincide with these miners here running. Let's see if we can select these. So that would be these miners basically running here. That would give us close to the 200 petahash. It looks like some of these were turned off. So I'm guessing it was 1,000 here that was turned off. And in order to get these miners online, some more of those, it looks like. It's hard to tell, but based on that, that's how I came up with the 200 petahash that we have over here calculated. So if we calculate this, we end up with close to 206, and then I'm guessing some of these might have been turned on as well, so they might have also turned off some of these as well, here the older miners, in order to get to the 200 petahash. But based on those numbers, we're looking at like they might have a pretty good quarter for Q3. We're looking at maybe 8.8 million, plus or minus 15 to 20% either way. Per gross, and Bitcoin closing price for September was 48,164, and they mined 51 in July. August was 44, September was 37. So obviously we're seeing the hash rate increase here. That's why we're seeing a decrease in the amount that's being mined, and they're not keeping up with the amount of miners being installed. So that's a bad sign. They're not getting the miners in as fast as they should. So we had a total value of 6.4 million in BTC. Obviously this was a lot of price appreciation, because Bitcoin did go up from 33,000 to 48,000 here. So now, once we get into the fourth quarter, so we know that these 3 quarters here are pretty much set in stone. Nothing's going to change here. So the dynamic quarter is going to be here for Q4. So Q4, right now, Bitcoin price is at 62,994. Obviously, it's pumping because of the Bitcoin futures ETF. So we have to keep an eye on that one to see if we don't have one of those sell the rumor or buy the rumors, sell the news events. But right now I'm thinking that these miners might be operational, and these other ones, the S9s here that were operational the previous quarters, are going to be turned off in order to get more of these miners installed here. To get us up to the 200 petahash or a little bit above it. And this is just an estimate here. I'm not sure exactly what they're going to be mining. Their reports and press releases don't give specifics as far as what their hash rate is, other than the 200 that we had here, petahash. So this is what I'm going by. That would give us, let me see, take a look at it here. So if we have these miners here and we're only dealing with part of these, we would be at close to maybe 220, something like that, 250 in petahash once those are installed for this quarter. We just don't know how many they're going to get installed. So we end up with a gross projected revenue of possibly 10 million, which would be an increase over the third quarter. And then we just don't know where the price of Bitcoin is going to go within the next couple of months before the end of the quarter, before the end of the year. So this is where I'm at on this. Just wanted to fill you guys in. Obviously, this is a little concerning that they're, combining hash rates with Bit Digital and doing basically shared location on their infrastructure. I would have liked to have seen them install more miners, buy more miners, instead of doing some collaboration with another mining company. For one, it makes it more difficult, but the other thing is that it's also going to be less revenue generating. It's maybe a little bit more consistent revenue, but it's not more revenue, right? And the bad thing is we just don't know where Bitcoin's going to go. So if Bitcoin crashes, they're still going to get that revenue. But if Bitcoin goes up in value, they could have been obviously making a lot more as well. So based on that, we now take a look at the possible net income estimates based on the conservative estimate. So this is 50% discount from the gross revenue. So we know Q1, Q2, and Q3 are going to be pretty close. And then Q4 is obviously the dynamic one, depending where the Bitcoin price is going to go. So current BTC price is at 62,994. Current quarter earnings estimates are 10.2 for the fourth quarter. Last 3 quarters, we're guessing on the third quarter, and the 1 and 2 quarters are set already. So we're guessing around 18.7 million. That'll give them a combined total of 28.9 million, and then 50% discount from that for costs, electricity, everything else, infrastructure, maintenance. We're just saying 50% discount from that, so we're going very conservative on this. We're looking at with price to earnings multiple of 20, we're looking at a stock price of 386. Now Bitcoin goes up to $100. For the fourth quarter, we're looking at a stock price of 466, and then it goes up to 150. We're looking at a possible stock price of 574, and then if Bitcoin goes to 200,000 by the end of the quarter, we're looking at a stock price of possibly 682. So right now, it looks like it's undervalued, but I think because of this, investors are a little weary as far as what their income is going to be. And it's hard to figure out also what their income is going to be. So if we look at the mining comparison here, we added Digihost to it, so they're at $1.76 now, 163 million shares outstanding, or 163 million market cap, 75 million shares outstanding. We don't have a current price to earnings multiple for them, so we just that we don't know. It's not being reported by Microsoft here in the Excel sheet. Estimated yearly gross revenue, we're looking at 28.9 million. That's gross. EPS would be 39. Obviously, EPS is way lower than that because of the expenses and everything else that they had on there. They had, I think, the last 2 quarters was at 0 earnings per share. Price to earnings multiple of 20 would give us a gross $7.72 for the stock price. But obviously, we're going with a more conservative estimate, so we're looking at 386 with the 50% discount. So the difference from today is $2.10. If Bitcoin goes up to 100,000, we're looking at 466, 150,000, 574, and 200,000, we're looking at 682. If they can get all the miners installed when they're saying they're going to get them. So right now, that's based on today's price, we should be up 119% from where we are today, but we're not. If it goes to 100,000, 165%, 226, and 288, respectively. And then for their current BTC HODL, you can see that they reported on October 4th, they had a 502.26, which is valued right now at 33 million. 33,844,000, and this includes also 563 Ethereum that they HODL, which would give them, let me see here, BTC HODL amount is 31 million, and then the Ethereum HODL is 2.2 million, so combined it's 33.84 million. And then if we look at analyzing this, HODL versus market cap percentage-wise, so based on their market cap and how much they HODL, it's basically 21% of their market cap. For the other miners here, you can see Argo is at 14%, Riot is at 8%, Marathon is at 8%, Hut is at 12%, Hive is at 10% and 15%. And then we look at market cap times HODL value. So HODL value would be 6.82 times for Bitfarms, Hive is 9.7, Hut is 8.16, Marathon is 11.68, and Riot is at 13.21, Argo is at 7.17, and Digihost is at 4.84. So this basically just represents how many times their HODL amount, how much they HODL would go into their market value. So it's 6.82 times to get that. I think the higher the number, the lower that investors are basically looking at their HODL amounts and pricing out the stock on that. So yeah, and this is just my calculations here. Obviously, these are, I think, a little optimistic based on if we look at where the miners are and how many miners they have. I mean, obviously, these guys are a small-time operator. They're trying to get NASDAQ listed, I believe, as well. That might help them out to get to those estimates that we have. But they just don't have a lot of miners coming online, other than the shared hosting that they're doing with Bit Digital. So interesting to hear what you guys think about it. I'm not a big fan of Digihost. for two reasons. One, they're obviously lacking way behind on the miners installation based on the other miners in the industry. And two, they're doing that strategic collaboration with BitDigital, which is making it hard to figure out how much they're actually going to mine. So let me know what you guys think. I think it does have a little upside. I think it's being way undervalued right now based on where the price of Bitcoin is going and what they are actually mining. And the other thing is if they can keep their costs down. That's a big thing, keeping the costs down and getting as lean as possible. I know that the CEO reported that he's not, I believe he's not getting paid anything except for like $1 for the year. So that is at least a one good move, but I think they also have a lot of share compensation, which is also hurting it as well. So let me know what you guys think. Obviously, do your own research as always before investing. This is just my own hypothesis and estimates and where things could be, but there's a lot of variables that are at play here. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and bye.